So this version 7.3, you don't need your book. So it says the diagram to the right models the inequality 4 plus 2x is greater than x plus negative 2. It says x plus negative 2 because it's the same thing as having x minus 2. That's the same thing as doing x plus negative 2, because if you're adding two negatives, you're actually just taking away two numbers. Notice that the side that is lower has the heavier weight. It has a heavier weight. It's like a teeter-totter. To solve the inequality, we use the same process as we did for equations, with exception of one thing. Whenever we multiply or divide by a negative, it's going to flip the sign. So let's write that in. Whenever we multiply, when you multiply or divide by a negative, flip the sign. So that means that when we're doing the inverse operations for a negative, if we had to multiply or divide that negative, with that negative, we flip the sign. So to solve the inequality, we use the same process as we did with equations. Now we're going to break it down. When you multiply or divide by a negative, listen to the words. I'm saying what you're writing down. When you multiply or divide by a negative, you flip the sign. So we remove 1 cup from each side. We're going to remove 1 cup from each side. That was the way that we did with the coins in the bag activity. So I'm going to remove 1 cup from each side. And you can just put an X through it if you want. That one is gone. Remove 1 cup from each side. Now state the new inequality. So I want you to write down what that inequality shows now. It used to be 4 plus 2x is greater than x plus negative 2, but now it shows something different. I'm going to give everybody a chance to write that down. And you write it on, you have a lot of room there, but so you should have had x, or 4. 4 plus x is greater than negative 2. 1x is x, so you don't need to say 1x. Yep. That's okay. Mm-hmm. Didn't you just ask that?
I asked if you was
Yeah, Tuesday and Thursday. I was walking right here. Did you ask me that?
Joe.
Yeah, you already asked me that. I already answered that. 4 plus x is greater than negative 2. That's what you should have, because we have 4 integers plus x is greater than negative 2. Come on. Thank you. Now, this is the part where I don't know how much this helps many people. So, but it's in the textbook, it's in the curriculum, so I'm going to do it. We're going to place 4 zero pairs on the right side. And by placing 4 zero pairs, which means that I'm going to put a pair of zeros. So that's 1 pair of zeros. So because you have 1 positive and 1 negative. Okay? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 4 zero pairs. Because if I have plus and minus integers, that means I have 0. So what essentially I did is I just represented nothing using integers that you can see. That goes back to the sea of zeros. Next question says, why is it necessary to place 4 zero pairs on that side? Do you know, Joe?
It gives it more
Gives it more answers. Okay. It gives it more. Okay. I know where you're getting at with that. Let's see if anybody else can come up with something else. Does anybody know why we did that 4 0 pairs there? Okay. If I had to personify it, or if I had to put it into words, I would say gives us something to remove in upcoming step. It gives us something to remove in an upcoming step. So it says remove 4 positive counters from each side. Remove 4 positive counters? Did I read that wrong? Oh, that's right. Maybe I typed it wrong. Yeah, it does say counters. Remove 4 positive counters from each side. So I'm going to remove 4 positive counters from this side. And I'm going to remove 4 positive counters from this side. Thanks. So now what do you see in your balance? What does it say? What's the solution? Yes.
It's x is less than 4.
4?
6.
6?
Negative 6.
There we go. Negative 6. X is less than negative 6 because I have an x and I have 6 negatives. 6 is less than? 6 is greater than. Should be greater than, not less than. You said less than. Should be greater than. It's a teeter-totter. The heavier weight stays in the bottom. Andrew?
If it's less than, the cup is less than negative 6. Why is the cup down?
Because Joe misspoke.
Huh? I missed it.
Huh. Okay. Now, how do we check ourselves for accuracy? What we're going to do is we're going to substitute a value of x to see if it holds true. Good Lord. To see if it holds true. Well, see if it holds true.
Can we leave it closed? But I would like to.
No. Yep. So see if it holds true. Let's do x equals 0. Okay, we're going to do x equals 0 because we want to do one that is greater than negative 6. So we're going to use 0. I'm going to plug this in here. 4 plus 2, substitute 0, greater than 0 minus 2. Is 4 greater than negative 2?
Yes.
Yes, and we're good. Then we are good. Yes, sir?
I wasn't your part, but I think they just put the same thing when you're doing the equation.
Yep. Yep.
No, that was hard for me.
There. Ow. All right. So the door is not going to close now. No, it's only a little bit full. So, for example, first step that we have to do is we are going to try to get the variable by itself, and by doing that, we're going to combine like terms. And solve for x. So this is, once again, sad met. So I'm going to rewrite this. So to combine like terms, I have to use sadmet. And the first thing I have is addition. I'm going to subtract 9 to do the inverse. And this is one that my 6th graders are even doing today. They had a test on it. What do I have to do now? I asked you to sit up here, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So as you're moving, what do you think? Good. Solve for x, divide 2 by both sides. X is less than 8.
Oh, yeah, so you have to flip the sign.
Nope, we didn't flip the sign.
Oh,
It only flips when we have 3. Oh, we multiply or divide by a negative.
so, okay, so that those are
Now we're going to graph these, because that's what you have to do in your homework. Now I have to graph those. So we just take 8, 9, 7 at the very minimum. Now is this going to be a circle that's filled in or an open circle? Who can tell me what they think? Joey.
It's open because it's not negative.
Beautiful. It's open because it doesn't have less than or equal to. That's what I think you meant. With the line underneath it? Yeah. And since the variable is on the left side, that means I can use the Smith trick of having the less than symbol know that that's the side that's going to be colored in. So anything less than 8, not including 8, but less than 8. Oh. Anything less than the best is a felony. No. Anything less than 8 will hold that true. So if you were to plug in any number less than 8, no matter how small or how far negative, that will hold true, and that's what that arrow represents. Okay, okay, next ejemplo. So we are going to combine like terms first. Then we are going to solve for x. And then we could test it, but I'm going to graph it here. So I'm going to rewrite this. 5x plus 3 is greater than 3x plus 23. So to combine my like terms, I have two different terms here. I have my x's and I have my integers. I have my x's and I have my integers. I'm going to make... I'll add 5x's. Really doesn't matter which way I go on for this point. People during the day who have been making big errors on their homework are ones that are not doing this. The last one that we have for this for the examples today takes a really long time to do, but I expect you to have them all in there. All those steps, every single one. Salud. Now I have to subtract 23 because I want to get the variable by itself. And that will be negative 20. And I now have my terms, my like terms combined. Notice how this symbol here, that inequality, did not change because I'm not multiplying or dividing by a negative. I was subtracting. Okay, I was subtracting or adding. So now I have 20, negative 20 is greater than 8. I have to divide by 8. And that comes out to be negative 2.5 is greater than x. I'm going to graph that guy. It's an open circle. And if I want to test to see which direction I go, I'm going to test this point right here, which would be 2, or negative 2. Is negative 2 less than negative 2.5? So you're saying that... No, that doesn't work, so that means I'm going away from it. Nope, it's only open. It's open because it's not less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. And keep in mind that I also could rewrite this as being this: x is less than negative 2.5. It's the same thing. Webb, you know I hole punch everything, right? Because I expect you to put them into your binder, not just put them in there like a folder with no flaps. Next we have another one just like what we've been doing. First thing we're going to do is we're going to combine like terms. Then solve for x. Now I have to use SAD map again. I have subtraction first, boom, so I got to undo that. I got to do the inverse of subtraction. Plus 7, plus 7. M over 3 is greater than or equal to 18. Now I had to think to myself, what's happening to the variable? Well, the variable is being divided by 3, but also it's being multiplied by 1/3. We'll get to that next. Multiply both sides by 3, and I have that m is greater than or equal to 54. Yeah. So I'm going to graph that now. This is the bare minimum that you need to put on there for your graphing. So it is colored in because it is greater than or equal to, and it's going to shoot off to the right because my variable's first. So it's just like yesterday, and just like you learned in 6th grade with graphing inequalities. Last year. Tomorrow equals the next day of class. Similar rules apply to the word yesterday. Have you not seen that part? Ooh, you didn't like that. Case in point, I just said yesterday, and a student corrected me the same way that I would say tomorrow, and kids love like, oh, we don't have school tomorrow if it's a Friday or whatever. All right, now the fun starts. So I want you to recognize, stop talking. I want you to recognize that n over 11, n minus 11 over 2 is equal to 1/2 times the quantity of n minus 11. Those are equivalent, because if you were to distribute that 1/2 into those two, it would be that. We will be. So let's put that in practice. Okay? I'm going to just block that off. 1/2 n minus 11 is less than or equal to negative 6. So SADMAP, okay, I have to use the distributive property first because this is an exception. So that means that I have 1/2 n minus 11 over 2. Now I have to go with my inverse operations. Plus 11 over 2 plus 11 over 2. And now I have to have common denominators when I'm adding or subtracting fractions. So I need to rewrite the 6 as being 12 over 2. Do you guys agree that 12 over 2 is 6? Okay. So now I have 1/2 n is less than or equal to negative 12 over 2 plus 11 over 2. And I'm writing down each and every step because we need to be sure that we know how to do this. So now what's happening to the variable? It is being multiplied by 1/2. So you have to do the inverse operation of that. So I'm going to multiply that by 2. I have to do it to both sides as well. These two cancel out. These two cancel out, so now I just have n is less than or equal to negative 1. We'll write it down in just a moment. And it's closed in because it's less than or equal to. Thank you. So the steps for what we did with this one was we combined like terms. Then from there, after using the distributive property, we add 11/2 to both. Then we divided, or multiplied by 2. And when I say both, I mean both sides. Now this one. Oof. We're not gonna graph the other one. So we have 5 minutes to do this one. I'm gonna have to. I'll have your guys' grades online. I haven't finished grading. I'll have them online tonight, but it won't be until after I work the volleyball game. So it won't be until about 7:30 at the earliest. Okay, but I will have them up there. Yeah. C plus 8. Actually, I'm gonna do this in here. 1/4 C plus 8 equals 1/9 5 minus c. I have to distribute those in. I'm doing this way rather than showing the multiplied by a fourth. I'm putting it on top to show you that it can go that way as well. So now I have to combine like terms. So I'm going to move the 5/9 to the other side. C over 4 plus 2 minus 5/9 equals the opposite of C over 9. The first step was to distribute. My second step was to combine like terms. Okay, 5 minutes. So now it's just a review on adding and subtracting fractions. I have to, and while I'm doing that step, I guess I could get rid of my, subtract my minus c over 4 minus c over 4. So now I'm going to have this 2 in a fraction form because I need to have the same common denominator. So I have 18 ninths minus 5 ninths is equal to the opposite of c over 9 minus c over 4. Something's not right. This doesn't. Why is this way? C 4 2 5 ninths minus 5 ninths minus 5 ninths. C4. Yeah, we're good. So I need to find common denominators now for that fraction. So that would be 36 over here. The common denominator is going to be 36. So 4c. You all right with the desks? Minus 9c (13/9 equals negative 4c minus 9c. What does that come up to be? What's the numerator? Negative 4 minus 9. Yeah.
Negative 5.
Negative 13.
Yeah.
So I have the negative c over 3 because I simplified that. No, that doesn't work. 13/36 does not simplify to that. Now I have to multiply by the reciprocal to undo that. This is from second quarter. Okay. 36 over 13. It's negative. Now I can cross simplify. This is a whole bunch of review stuff on this gross question. So we have, oh yeah, I gotta, you know what? So that's going to be 4 Negative 4 equals C. Not many, but I wouldn't give you something to do if it wasn't going to be on the homework. Or Jack, can you open up the Whiz Teach button and hit stop for me? Thank you. No, hit stop.